All right, everyone, welcome back into another fantasy golf video. Going to be touching on the round 2 showdown plays here for the Cognizant Classic. Let's go in and get into it. So I do want to start out with the leaderboard because right now, if we just sort it by ownership, we can see none of the high owned plays are really doing well or really paying off their price tag right now. We have to scroll down a lot to get to like Cameron Young, and that's really it. And then in terms of like leverage, yes, there was some ownership leverage that was gained really on Alex Noren, but kind of a weird week right now. In general, we look at like who's winning the tournament and looking at like the model ranks and just in general salary ranks as well. Not players that people would have been ending up on too much. I mean, Andrew Novak, good GPP play. You got Cheston Hadley, who I thought was a good GPP play. Cameron Young did have a good round one. Sam Ryder, another good GPP play. EVR, good GPP play. Billy Horschel, worth a look a little bit. That's the thing. It's like really the first two plays that you would have played and felt pretty good about are Chris Kirk and Alex Noren. And I shouldn't say that with Alex Noren or Chris Kirk because they didn't really have that much ownership, which again, kind of strange, but it's a strange week. And with that, we are seeing the course play a lot easier than it has. Again, to a tizzy about it. It's not a golf week if the golf community isn't complaining about something. I'm actually very happy that they made the changes. I mentioned it on the opening video on Monday. I'm like, they need to do something. This event is boring. And so I am glad they try to change it up and try to do some scoring. It is making the course a lot more fun to watch. And this event does kind of get gypped though, just with its schedule. So I don't know. It's weird there. But looking at the weather here, maybe there was a slight tee time advantage, AM to PM, but really, a lot of the AM golfers were just across the board were good plays. I will say we probably do want to be prioritizing the AM tee times again for round 2. That's typically something that I always try to do. And so we go ahead and get into the round 2 showdown plays here. I'm just going to sort it by a showdown rank right now. Rory is coming in as the best showdown play. So if you guys want to end up on Rory, that makes a lot of sense. Pavan is going to be number 2, Chris Kirk number 3. My issue here is that a lot of these golfers are golfers that had the AMT time yesterday. So really what I need to do here, and we're going to have to go with late here because again, round 1 is not done yet. Oh, this did update. Okay. So we'll go with early then. So in terms of like early tee times, if you want to be chasing the AM advantage, Mingwoo Lee, okay. Matt Fitzpatrick, okay. Tom Kim, Russell Henley, EVR. Eric Cole, maybe he goes low. When I show you guys the regression stat, he's going to be someone that is expected to have a much, much better round. Sanjay M, Danny McCarthy, Alex Noren. I feel pretty good about Alex Noren. He produced as expected out of that PMT time. But definitely interesting there. Carson Young is a play that I like. I might just do that. I don't see the need to probably get too cute with it on the round 2 showdown. We'll take a peek at the regression. This is just telling you guys one who's most likely to regress negatively. And again, Carson Young's popping up in there. I don't believe that play. And then on the flip side, a lot of these golfers that did play well in round 1 are not expected to play well. That I think makes a lot of sense to a lot of people. Now, I know people like to look at strokes gained putting stats, so let's just go ahead and take a peek at that for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and take a peek at strokes gained putting just to see how some of these golfers are comparing against their season average. And so some golfers might not have season averages in there, need to slide that to 1. There we go. And so here we go. So which golfers are most likely to improve putting? We got a lot. So Bo Hosler was terrible putting. Akshay was bad putting. Matt Wallace bad putting. There's a lot of golfers, and you can see Eric Cole popping up in there. There's a lot of a lot of good golfers that had terrible days putting, and it could be the switch just from California, Mexico to Florida. Grass is a little bit different here and there. I typically don't like to get into that stuff too much, but that could be playing a role with a lot of these guys that have been putting the ball really well. And we're seeing that with a lot of golfers. And I do want to call this out for Davis Thompson. Maybe Davis Thompson could actually be a sneaky outright bet, current live bet for you guys, because he is someone that is expected to putt a little bit better because he did not putt that well and he still shot a low score. Now let's go ahead and flip it around. Which golfers were hot with the flat stick that might, not putt as well? Unfortunately, Justin Lauer popping up in there. That's not good. Needs to get the rest of his game going. He was a value play that I like. I mentioned him. The other one was Carson Young. Carson Young is playing well. But yeah, a lot of the golfers, I mean, we know this is how it works, but a lot of the golfers that played well in round 1 were hot with the putter. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into the 9 to 5 lineup builder. And one thing we can do is kind of just look at it in terms of value. Who are going to be the best value plays right now? And I do want to call it kind of sucks that the round isn't finished, but for the most part, we have a good enough data size going into this. I probably do want to be favoring maybe more of the AM tee time guys. So like maybe someone like Alex Noren, maybe EVR, you know, some of these guys that do have that AM tee time, I might just bump them up a little bit. So like EVR, I don't know, maybe like 48. Alex Noren, let's bump them up to 49 potentially. And I did mention I want to be on Carson Young a little bit. So I'll go ahead and bump up his data a little bit as well, just to tell it, hey, I like this play. Let's get some exposure to it. And so here we go. All I'm going to do is 3 for unique players and then 35% max exposure. This has been something that has been pretty successful for me. And so let's go ahead and do it. Even today, like I didn't have enough AM exposure. I entered $60, made $2 profit out of the day. So kind of a weird day in that regard. Let's see here. So player exposures, Stefan Jaeger, do we really want to do that, especially with the PMT time? Maybe not. Same thing with Chris Kirk. Like some of these golfers that we are getting exposure to that have that AMT or that PMT time, I might reduce my exposures to them. But at the same time, they're the golfers that are the projected to play the best. And real quickly, if we do look at it for tomorrow, maybe there's actually a slight PM advantage. So I don't think we really need to worry about weather too much. So that makes me feel good about it. And so, you know, maybe these ownerships that we do have exposure to, maybe I don't need to adjust them that much. So I might just roll with that. And then for what it's worth, guys, we did give out a 5 for 5 slip on PrizePicks. Unfortunately, we are not having any PrizePicks or underdog props just yet for round 2. Kind of strange. Don't like that when they do that. And then in terms of like round 2 3-ball bets, slightly different board, but a lot of the same names are still popping up in there. Carson Young was someone that was really popping up in there. Mark Hubbard, Olson popping up in there. Keith Mitchell, JT Poston, Benny Ann, and a lot of these guys won their round or their 3-ball bets in round 1 as well. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of that. I know it's a pretty good day 3-ball betting wise, as it typically is, because we get good odds for the most part. And so, you know, if you guys want to use those, by all means, go for it. But that's going to be all for today's video. If you guys want access to those tools I just showed you, head on over to 9to5sports.com. They are available for just $10 a month. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.